previous videos, we have tested communication between local and remote indicators when attached to Minebea scales. The ability for remote display and control is not exclusive to industrial scales or Minebea products. For many years, Minebea Intec was part of the Sartorius balance portfolio, and as such we have maintained full compatibility with the balance offering, which continues to this day. While Minebea Intec concentrates on higher capacity applications, the ability to display extreme balance level accuracy on Signum and Convex can provide unique weighing solutions for balance and scale customers. Generally speaking, most functions available on Sartorius balances can be controlled from Signum and Convex. But why would balance users need to process weight data through connected scales? Well, there are three areas of interest where we need to upgrade the capability of laboratory balances. First of all, the availability of industrial and network protocols can be added to balances that may not be available as optional equipment. We can provide extra functionality for balances with programs and keyboards that may not be installed on laboratory balances. And finally, we have the ability to keep older legacy balances functional. There are several circumstances that might require balances to communicate through Minebea Intec products. Where serial data must be sent to devices that are more than 50 feet away, the standard RS-232 on laboratory balances typically is not sufficient for long-distance transmission. Communication to analog pumps via 4 to 20 milliamp is not available on laboratory balances, but can be available through Convex and Signum products. The Delta V network communication is often a case where Profibus is requested by users. This is fully available on industrial scales. And finally, a single interface card can be used to connect all balances and scales in the system. Up to 2 balances can be connected to a single indicator, greatly simplifying the design of the system as well as saving money on individual interface cards. Where providing extra functionality for balances is concerned, we have the ability to add numeric keypads to basic balances. Even balances that do not have a keypad can be used to function as if they did. We can add remote operation for glove box applications. This is especially helpful when you have a touchscreen display installed in a glove box that may be difficult to use through very thick, clumsy gloves. It can be controlled, however, through an external display from Minebea. We can add special print formatting to the standard laboratory versions, and the inclusion of time and date stamps can be sent with each printout, options that are sometimes not available, especially on lower cost but still highly accurate laboratory balances. We can keep some of our older equipment running. For example, if we have a failed display module on a discontinued balance and the parts are no longer available, it is possible to substitute a Convex or Signum display. It's possible for very old balances built before the pre-internet era to add Ethernet TCP/IP to balances that may not have that capability on their own. Most modern balances do have an option for this, but certainly where older balances are concerned, this is a very simple way to get this communication format. We're going to look now very quickly at a setup that we've put together here. We have a 5,000 gram by 1/10 of a gram Practum balance, and we have a 64 kilo by 2 gram Signum scale. We're going to go through 3 operations. First of all, we're going to show you how to enable the remote operation through the menu on the Signum. We're going to perform a completely remote hands-free calibration of the balance using only the keypad of the Signum, and in the same way perform a remote tare entry operation for weighing sealed containers. So first let's start by showing you the existing setup. The 2 scales are currently connected, but the software has not been enabled in the Signum to fully communicate. So as you can see, when we press the 1,000-gram weight on each scale, they operate independently. In order to change that, we enter the Signum menu by pressing on/off and then tare during the digit check. Now we use a combination of the function and tare key until we scroll through the COM1 settings to a setting called WP2. This is for Way Platform 2. Once we see that, we touch tare, and you'll touch tare 2 more times until you see a 1 in the left-hand column of the Signum display. Now hold the tare button to exit to the weighing menu, and once the scale stabilizes, both units will be reading by 1/10 of a gram. When we place the weight on the Sartorius balance, it updates the Signum balance simultaneously. And as you can see, the Signum platform has been disabled until we press the scale button to switch and toggle back and forth. Now the first thing we're going to do would be a situation where we have a glove box application where it may be very difficult to operate the keys on the Practum balance, but we can do so by remotely calibrating with the Signum or with a Combix if that were connected. By holding the ISO test key, it will tell the Practum to expect a 5,000-gram weight. Once the scale stabilizes, it'll display 5,000 on the balance display, and the balance has been fully calibrated without the need to touch the balance keyboard. Now we're going to try a special application where you would have sealed containers but need to weigh only the net contents but are unable to tare an empty vessel. In this case, we're going to key in a manual tare. We've established that the empty vessel weighs 62.3 grams. And we press tare, and that will be transmitted automatically to the laboratory balance. We can now test each bottle of water one at a time, excluding the value of the tare container, but without having actually tared the empty container on the balance. As you can see, it's a very simple operation, one after another, until all products have been tested. There are many applications with a combination of Minebea Intec products and Sartorius balances that could be beneficial for your user and might be the difference of making a sale or losing the sale. If you have questions about what might be possible with the combination of balances and scales, please give us a call. If you have any additional questions, you can also send an email, and we'll be happy to answer the best we possibly can. Thank you so much for your time today. This concludes this demonstration of remote setup and operation of balances.